Hello. I always sit here and wait. Once I click the button that says go live, there's like this long pause. I'm like, is it going to work? Welcome, everyone. It is Monday once again. Last week was a short week because it was just a really kind of a messed up week because Monday was a holiday. So shipping didn't resume until Tuesday. So it just kind of messed up the whole week. And here we are. And then today I'm a little messed up because Noah has been working Friday, Saturday, Sunday down at his new job, and they called him in today. So I had to get Noah to work this morning, and I have to pick him up this afternoon, and it's just all a little bit cray-cray. Hello, everyone over in the live chat. And to those of you who may be watching this on the replay, we do this every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. That would be 4 p.m. Eastern, and is that 3 p.m. Central? I never could understand why there's a 1 hour gap between Central and Eastern and then a 2 hour gap, because I guess they throw that little mountain time in there, but not too many people are on mountain time, so it's all a little bizarre. But anyway, it's 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, and we discuss something to do with the reselling world. Now it's pretty heavy leaning towards eBay because that is my forte, if you will. But everything I teach is applicable to anywhere you sell because my background is one of retail and buyer psychology and marketing and all of that. And that's what we're going to talk about today because I get a lot of questions and I get a lot of questioning of how dare I put values on all of my videos instead of showing a sold video, which I just want to address that. I want to create sold item videos. I want to show what this stuff is selling for. I'm shipping out 60 to 70 packages a week. In fact, my gal is at the post office as we speak, dropping off about, I would say today, she's dropping off about 40 packages. So it's not that I'm not selling, it is that putting those sold videos together is very editing intensive because what I want to do is go find the original footage where I found it, show you what I paid, what I said about it then, and then show the updated, here's what it sold for. And there's a lot that goes into making those videos. I'm not saying I'm never going to do it. I'm just saying I got to figure out how to work that into my flow of things. But rest assured, every single video that I produce, those values I put at the end are me researching every item as if I'm listing it myself and putting a conservative value of what sold comps show that it sells for. I never, ever go by listed comps. I go by actual sold items. I look in Worthpoint if it's not on eBay, and I give those values based on the exact item, or if it's not the exact item, very, very similar item has actually sold for. So I do that for you guys. I love being busy, though. I am a busy lady, but I love being busy. I can't imagine my life not being busy. I was always said that I am not a human being. I'm a human doing. Wow. Hello from New Zealand. Shirlene, what time is it right now in New Zealand? Because that's the other thing I always like try to figure out, like that time difference thing. It's so interesting. Yeah, YouTube, doing full-time YouTube, like what you see to produce a 20 to 30 minute video usually takes about 5 or 6 hours minimum. I'm just saying. It's crazy. I got Noah to help me, which is just Noah's my 16-year-old son. He puts the videos together for me technically, and then I go through and sometimes I'll add some things, like I'm the one who goes in and adds like the screenshots of a sold item for a comp or something, and then I add all my values at the end. But he does all the other stuff. So I don't know what I would do without him. It's 9:05 in Middle England. And from Brazil, I am so honored to have such a worldwide audience. Thank you. Thank you. Because I know a lot of what I talk about is so, United States centric, and my Canadian friends, they tend to list on eBay US and stuff, but I am just, thank you. Thank you all for being here. It's amazing. I mean, thank you all for being here. This is kind of what has prompted my topic today, because I feel just so absolutely blessed to be in the position that I'm in, that I have a reach of tens of thousands of people, and not just in the United States, but around the world. And my gosh, I'm starting already. My adult goal, I can't say it was my life goal, but once I got to a certain point in my life, my mission was to not let what I've gone through in my life to be in waste. That I wanted to help and impact and inspire others. And as I tell my story, it's gonna probably flip-flop a little back and forth as it comes to me. This is not scripted. I'm just gonna kind of tell it as it comes to me. But my first experience in like the I guess you would call it the influencer world, was I was invited by eBay to be part of a seller panel at one of their big events. And I was one of 4 that got to be on that stage and kind of talk about our eBay story and all of that. You want to hear a funny story about that? I don't think I've ever told anybody this. I'm trying to think what year that was. Is anybody in my audience, do you remember seeing me in that seller panel? I'm going to say it was 7 or 8 years ago ish, somewhere in there. And there was 4 of us sitting up on the stage in chairs. And I can't even tell you who the other people were to this day. But what I will tell you is I had to sit next to a gentleman who was a heavy smoker. And I'm going to say this in the kindest way possible, but that stale, smoky smoker smell was so strong, it was making me gag. On stage, in front of a room of hundreds of eBay sellers. So I was really trying to hold it together. And every time he would like talk, I'm like, he was sitting to my left, and I'd have to look over and was looking at the other panelists and like looking over here in the audience, because it was like trying to get my nose as far away. I was holding my breath a lot, because when he talked, that was when it was the worst. Can't believe I'm telling you guys this. But that was my first being in front of a whole bunch of eBay sellers thing. And so the most impactful thing from that I came away with was afterwards, there were people coming up to the stage to talk to us. And I had several people come up and tell me what an inspiration I am. And that was like that was the moment for me when it was like, wow, what I do can inspire others. Like, that's pretty cool. Um, because I love that. I love taking what I do and what I know and helping somebody else achieve something they want to achieve. So that was the beginning for me as far as the teaching. Yes, I have two very naughty little dogs that I'm sure will be barking because the wind is blowing enough to make things kind of bounce around and make it sound like somebody's knocking on the front porch. So forgive the little doggies. They are going to be, yes, I'm talking about you. Little obnoxious. That's Peanut. Peanut is my barker. Ozzy's being really good. He's sitting right here next to me. Peanut's the problem. But anyway, so there's that. But let me back up even further from all that. So my childhood, and here's something that I have studied my whole life, is that we all do things and we make decisions and we make choices. I guess that was redundant. We do that all based on our life experience. Everybody has a different life experience. Everybody grows up differently. Everybody has different family dynamics and friend dynamics and environment dynamics. And that is how we form what we believe in, what we're passionate about, what affects us, what all of that. And it's always fascinated me to tie that into retail. And I have studied buyer psychology and, why do people collect something? Why do people buy? That's always been a very fascinating topic for me. So it's really how I got to the whole thing of niche or niche. Let me just dispel that. You know what? Everybody says it different. Just like you say potato, I say potato, but actually I say potato. But it's kind of that thing. I don't care. There is no one right way to say it. I can be the niche lady, which is kind of bougie sounding. I kind of like it. Or I can be the niche. I'm kind of like that West Coast, like, I guess it's like, I would say West Coast crass. Like, just, it's niche lady. It's like, we're a little bit harder that way. But anyway, I don't care how it's said. So no need to apologize for saying it one way or the other. Like, I say niche, you could say niche. It's all good to me. Oh, do I see? Hey, Patrick from Trusty Huckster Mercantile. Welcome. Welcome. I always feel bad. Like I like say hi to one person. I go, oh, who else did I say hi to? But Patrick is also another fellow YouTuber friend who does life sales. I learn a lot because he talks a lot about the stuff that he sells as he's selling it, which is really fun. Oh yeah, and then you've got Tiffany of Thrifting Vegas. I'm sure she doesn't just say potato or potato. Let me see. Oh, I can't even. I wouldn't do it justice. The way she says it would sound even more cool, okay? Because she's got that whole English accent thing going on. I give her a hard time about that all the time. Anyway, so my childhood was pretty tumultuous. I don't really know my biological dad. We left Wisconsin. We left there when I was two, and came out to California. And I guess we moved in with my grandparents, my maternal grandparents. That was my Mimi and Pampy. And unfortunately, Pampy was not a good guy. So I was abused from an early age. And my mom was a single mom. She was a struggling single mom. I won't go into a lot of that, but those of you who grew up with a single mom, it was hard then. It's hard now. It's just hard. And my mother ended up marrying a man who was a very bad dude. So I'll just say that. So I've had a lot of that type of experience in my life. But the memorable things about growing up were my grandmother, Mimi, as we called her. She was the glue of the family. She was the one who, like every holiday, and I'm like, even as I'm telling you this, I can see it all. I can see it all. Like, I can see every detail of that room that we sat in, the big dining room, and the table with her nice china set on the table, and she had this little, like a little counter bar eating area, and that's where the kids got set, and the little swivel chairs, that we'd like fidget and squirm because food wasn't done yet, and just waiting for the food, and you can smell it. The smells have filled the house, and we're just waiting, and the house is full of people, and it was just good times, and everybody talking, and everybody was just seemed to be happy, and we'd have a big meal, and everybody would just hang out in the living room and talk, and the kids would play, and she had a big backyard. I mean, and those are my memory. That's my life experience growing up. And one of the people that was always there was my Auntie Lynn. And my Auntie Lynn lived in Carpinteria, California. And if you're ever going up the coast of California, Carpinteria is a little town about 11 miles south of Santa Barbara, and it's just a beautiful little town. And I got to spend my summers up there. And my Auntie Lynn volunteered at a thrift store. And that's where the whole thrift store thing began for me. And I don't know how old I was when we started going there. I was young. And I don't know if my mom's over in the chat. Sometimes she is, sometimes she isn't. But I would go, my brother got to spend some time and I got to spend some time. We didn't go together. They did separate trips. So we got our special time up there with Auntie Lynn and Uncle Bob. And she'd take me with her to that thrift store like almost every morning. And our job was to go to the back alley and open the gate and put all the donations in and then sort the donations. And I just remember this amazing room, the amazing donation room. Like we'd walk down this hallway that was lined with donations, and then you'd step down into this room that was just piled with donated stuff. Like, oh, it was so amazing. And we'd go through stuff together, and she taught me about the good brands back then. She taught me about the collectibles. She taught me like how to price things back then. And then when the thrift store was open, she taught me how to run the register. Like me, a little kid, I was getting to count back change, and that's how I know how to count back change, because we didn't do calculators back then. It was somebody hand you a $10 bill for a $7 purchase. You count back 7, 8, 9, 10 in dollar bills. And so she taught me all of that. And it's some of my most treasured memories because it's really formed who I am today and why I love thrifted items so much. Every time that she would come to visit at Mimi's house, she would bring boxes and bags of stuff that came in through the thrift store. Now, she always paid for everything. Like, she never just took anything from the thrift. I remember witnessing her putting $100 bills in the register. She would just throw money in there all the time. But she would bring us the most amazing clothing and toys. And I mean, I was a kid back then, so obviously it was about clothing and toys. And it was just amazing. It was the treasures coming out of the bags, and it's just some of my very best memories. And so as I become an adult, I got married at 17. Wasn't happy at home, wanted to escape, so got me a boyfriend, and it's really, really funny. So my first really serious boyfriend, happened to have parents who owned a 7-Eleven. And for me, it was like business owners. Like I already had like the entrepreneurial thing. I had a little glow in my eye. And so I like started flirting with, their son who worked there all the time. Oh boy, I hope I got moderators over there. Goodness gracious. Okay, my mom is over in the chat. Mom, how old was I when we started spending summers up in Carpinteria? Because I don't remember exactly how old I was. I remember some stuff happening. I could track back, like I remember the big earthquake that happened while I was up there. So my aunt and uncle lived in a mobile home. And this is kind of the stuff we did. So I'm laying on the floor with Auntie Lynn, and we're looking at a book of dolls. And she's showing me the different history behind dolls because she collected dolls. Like we're talking porcelain bisque, French bruise, and the top German doll. Like that's why I still love those dolls to this day. And we're laying on the floor, and we heard this rumbling, like this thundery, but it wasn't thunder. It wasn't coming from above. It was coming at us. And then all of a sudden, the whole mobile home started just shaking. My uncle jumped out of his chair, and he's screaming at us, "Get outside, get outside." And it rolls through, and like we know now, it was a really bad earthquake. And I wasn't too scared back then of earthquake. Like it happened and we were fine. And it was really funny because when all was said and done, my uncle went running for his little miniature bottle collection, and he was like holding on at the bar, like he's telling us to get outside, and he's trying to save his little miniature bottle collection. He knows it was stupid. He said afterwards how stupid that was. Did one of my mods get that taken care of? Oh goodness, come on mods. What are we gonna do with this guy here? There we go, I got him. Yeehaw. Goodness. We got it. People. So anyway, so that was like my first memorable earthquake, stuff like that. And I can't tell if my mom answered my question either, because Harvey was too busy over there doing stuff. Gotta love trolls, right? Like what? Why? Oh, she said 4. Okay, 4 years old. Oh, no wonder I have such great memories. I went there for many, many years. All right, so my aunt also ate off of Franciscan Desert Rose china. Like that was the everyday table setting that we put out. And she'd have me set the table. She'd have me clear the table. Like this great. And I'm sure as a kid, I was like, rah, 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 I got to set the table. I got to, But now looking back as an adult, it was like, that was such valuable stuff. Such valuable stuff. My uncle worked out on the oil platforms that they have off the coast there. He worked for Union Oil, I believe. And he taught me to do many things that a father would teach a daughter. So he was kind of my father figure, because my father was not in my life. And some of the most memorable things are learning to fish. And they drive these big boats out to the rig. And so I got to drive the boat. Like he let me drive the boat. And I remember that. And I remember fishing and catching all these fish, and all the guys going, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe she pulled that in all by herself." And it was just a really great time. He taught me to shoot a gun. And I remember one very memorable time he had targets set up, which is a little 22, targets set up behind the mobile home. There was nothing else back there. It was clear fields, all of that. But there was a parking lot. And I overshot the target, and we heard a ping. He goes, "That's it, we're done." Apparently I had shot somebody's car. So that was the end of, shooting guns behind the mobile home. But just really, really great memories. Really great memories. Yes, great life skills. Okay, why do we have an issue here? Like I've tried to block this user. Help me out here, mods. What do we got going on? What do we got going on? Oh, it's because it only blocks for 5 minutes. Oh, that's all I can do. Please, please, please don't respond to Harvey. If my mods can please, please, please get that person eradicated. Oh my goodness. I have buttons here from StreamYard. Can't just report. We have to actually block them, and only moderators can block them. I'm blocking. I can't do any, like, they're not letting you do it? That's crazy. Ah! He's a rat. Well, ain't that like a goodness? Because I'm pressing the block user, block user, block user, an error occurred. Try refreshing the page. Well, I can't refresh the page. All right. Well, everybody just ignore Harvey and just keep hitting the report. Harvey, get a life, dude. What the heck? All right. Hang on. Let me see if I can do something from my end, because that's just going to be really, really annoying. Hold on. Stand by. Stand by. Got to go to my channel. I got to go into my live here. Hold on. Now it's noisy. Let me see what I can do. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, you guys are able to at least delete all those messages. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, everyone. I am so, so sorry that we have to put up with such nonsense. All right. Well, hopefully we got him. Thank you, guys. Just keep hiding him. Just keep hiding him. All right. It looks different on StreamYard. Like I can't see all the hides, but now I just pulled up the video and I can see you guys are. But yet he's still there. Maybe if I report it. Yeah. Just ignore him. Keep hiding him. Thank you, mods. Thank you, mods. You are so invaluable to me. Like, I can't even tell you. Okay, so I'm not going to have time for my full story if I don't, like, move ahead. I'm sitting here reminiscing because those are such good memories. And let me just say, it's memories like that that motivate people to purchase the antiques and collectibles that we sell. It is memories like that for everyone who has, I mean, we all have memories. It's memories, those good memories are what causes someone not to look at the price, but to look at the stuff and to, pay a little more, or because it isn't about the price. It's about, I got to have that in my life because it's special to me. So it's a big part of buyer psychology. So let me fast forward back to, let's see. Found my boyfriend. I thought, marrying a guy whose parents own 7-Eleven would be really great. I don't recommend that reason for marrying somebody because I was divorced 2 years later and I was now a single mom. So I was a single mom at the age of 19 and raising my oldest daughter. And I was working 3 jobs. I threw a paper route. From there, I would go and worked for a company where I did microfiche filming. Like that dates me, right? And we don't even have microfiche anymore. For a financial company. And then from there, I would go and work at Disneyland. So I've done my stint at Disneyland. And what I tried to do was then also get a job as a waitress across the street at the Bob's Big Boy. And I got the job at Bob's Big Boy, but then Disneyland would not work with me on the hours, so I had to quit Disneyland, which, by the way, everybody thinks Disneyland is such a great place to work. No, not so much. It was pretty not as friendly as you would think Disney should be. I'll just put it that way. So I was working as a waitress over at Bob's Big Boy. And sometimes I was sleeping in my car because I was too tired to drive home at night. And Mimi helped raise my oldest daughter, like because I was just working so much. And I'm sure I have some of my memories and my timelines mixed up, but I will condense this. So I went through a phase of like I tried to sell Watkins, did that for a little bit. I sold Party Light. I never did Tupperware, but I did just about everything else. I did Electrolux vacuum cleaners. Like we would literally go to people's houses and give them a demo of cleaning a room of their house and showing them how great this $5,000 vacuum cleaner was and making the sale and all of that. I did that. And then I did Mary Kay, which I only made it through one of those big rah-rah get-together things. And I was like, this is not me. This is not me. The pink Cadillac thing isn't even a draw. I don't want a pink Cadillac. And then I found Avon. And for me, Avon was super cool because I could do what I do. Like I could, people already knew the product, but yet it was different product all the time. And so I found my little newspaper clipping. Let's see, the year was, let's see if it's on here. It's not even on here. I thought this was dated. I thought the paper itself was dated, but it's not. I don't know what year this was. I know my oldest daughter was little. So I opened up a store, not a store, because with Avon, you're not allowed to have a store. But nothing in their little manual said that you couldn't have a showroom. So I rented this little retail space that was right across the street from Mimi's. And so she helped me with childcare. And I would run my little showroom. I rented out the back half of the showroom to a couple of guys who did VCR repair so that I didn't have the full expense. I had the window and I had a little space in the front with a counter. And then I had a little office area and people would come in. They would place their orders. They would smell and test everything. They'd pick up their orders. So I was no longer spending the time doing all that. I mailed out all of my catalogs in bulk. So they went right through the postal system and I had a really good operation going. Like I was a 6-figure Avon seller. But here's the little newspaper clipping from the time. That was in the little La Habra newspaper. And you'll see in a moment here, that was my maiden name back then. There we go. And boom diddy boom, there I am at my little counter, like selling my Avon goods. And I just love it. It says it was the only Avon showroom in the world because I was. But Avon did not like this. Avon did not like that I had gotten around their little retail space rules. And so they made it really, really difficult for me to maintain the volume I was doing. Because what you used to have like 2 weeks to, Avon would send you the product that was ordered, and you would have 2 weeks to deliver those orders, collect the money from your clients, and then pay for the stuff. Well, what they did was shorten me down to 1 week. And so I just couldn't keep up with it. I couldn't get people in quick enough to pay for the thousands of dollars of product. And eventually it was just like, forget it. This is too much. And I closed the doors. And then they changed their policy to also include the word showroom. So I made a Fortune 500 company change their policy, and I love that. They also, so Gil says Avon Animal, so Avon is not the same company that it was. Avon actually sold out, I think it was like 8 years ago. like they're no longer the company that they were back in the beginning. But anyway, so that's kind of my first experience delving into my own retail. And it was very exciting. I loved it. It's like my dream has always been to be in retail. So let's see. So along that time, I met my second husband. So back up a little bit. I met my second husband because I was trying to restart a band. So back in 1990, I had a country band named 8 Second Ride. It was back when Chris Ledoux was kind of a big thing. And I was the lead singer. And we'd play the little smoky bars and nightclubs and had a really nice run. And I loved it. I loved it. That was like, I, I did a lot of theater in my childhood years. I did community theater. I did theater in high school. And so I loved being on stage. And so then the band thing, somebody said, you can sing. I'm like, really? Okay. And so I did the band thing. Okay. So now fast forward, that band kind of crumpled. Now we're into the late 90s. And I placed an ad in I don't know if it still exists, the Recycler. You guys know the Recycler was in California. Anyway, I placed an ad for musicians. I wanted to form a band back up. I did play Cook's Corner. I did play Cook's Corner, Brenda. Yes, I did. Love that little place. Does it still exist? That's so funny. Small world, right? Yeah, Cook's Corner was one of our regular spots. You bet. So I placed an ad, and that's where I found my now ex-husband. I always said, I got him in the Recycler. What could I expect? So we did end up dating and formed another band, and that's so funny. So did the whole band life, everything, got into horses. I bred thoroughbred race horses. And my whole thing, I've always been a rebel, always been a rebel. I know the industry is wrought with bad things for the horses. I was working with a man named Tom Ivers, and there's a book out there. Tom Ivers wrote The Fit Racehorse is the book. Like, if you're into horses, like training, raising horses, The Fit Racehorse by Tom Ivers. Got to get it, got to read it multiple times. I tracked him down. I reached out to him and I talked to Tom Ivers and had the great privilege of working with him on some of my horses because I wanted to do it different. I wanted to make a movement and change the way things were done and show them how they could train these horses so that they didn't break down. We actually had one of our jockeys was killed. We didn't ever have our own stable. We co-opted with others, and we had a horse, and JC Gonzalez was his name. And he wasn't riding for us the day it happened, but he was riding a horse who broke its leg. He went down, he got trampled, and it killed him. So it was really passionate about changing the way these horses were trained. Most of them are completely undertrained, which is the problem. They have weak bones. So anyway, I got to work with Tom Ivers. I raised these horses. I had my babies almost ready to go to the track. And then my now ex-husband decided that we were done raising horses. He quit his job so that we didn't have the money. And I was also raising goats, but the goats were companions to the horses. And he said, get rid of the horses. You can have all the goats you want. So I'm trying to condense this story down because at 2:00, I have a live sale to do with Julia Perfecting Pearls. So I don't want to run over. So let me just condense some parts of this story. Long story short, I'm kind of a rebel. I kind of find my way of doing things. So then along comes eBay. I'm back, when I'm doing the horses, I was literally plowing my arena when I heard the ad for eBay went public, the whole hype, that's how I got started on eBay. And it was a dream come true. So got rid of the horses, started raising goats. And that is why I got the name Utterly Good Stuff, because my whole life was about udders, milking goats. So let me just fast forward to where I've gotten to now, the YouTube channel, the foundation, and all of that. So I was married to this man for 23 years. And over the course of that marriage, I didn't realize it at the time, but he was extremely abusive, not physically. And that's the thing a lot of people don't understand, is that abuse is not always hitting. It's not always about leaving bruises. It is a psychological, and sometimes that's even more devastating effect. And it usually happens to women. And I'm just going to say, I get that there are abusive women out there, but my passion is for the women that have been put into this situation. Not been put into the situation. I've chosen to get into this situation, because that's one of the key elements of my life, is that the things that I've been able to accomplish and the places I've been able to go and the things I've been able to do are not luck. It is making choices to overcome things in my life. Because you can take two people who come from very similar experiences, and they both come to the same choice, and one will take the right fork and the other will take the left fork and end up in different places. So it's really important to acknowledge that we do make choices that cause us to end up where we end up. So I did realize about halfway into this marriage that it was not good and it was hard. But I was also now in a position of potentially losing my then second daughter. I had a little relationship in between my first daughter and then remarrying. Jordan was 3 when I met my second husband. And so look at me just messing up my hair. So at this point, I'm facing being a single mom again, which was terrifying to me, both from a financial perspective, from a lifestyle perspective. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to hang in there. I'm just going to hang in there until my kids are grown. And things would get bad, really bad, and then they would get better for a while. We moved to Arizona, and things were kind of good when we moved to Arizona. And that is when we had tried for 4 years to have a child, back when things were fairly decent. And I had several miscarriages, infertility, couldn't get pregnant, and I kind of gave up. And so we moved to Arizona, wasn't even thinking about it. I was ready to leave him. Things were so bad. I lost custody of Jordan because of things that my husband had done. And I was still terrified to leave. I mean, I was afraid because I needed the financial backing to fight for get my custody back. But all the time, little did I know, it was because I was staying with him that I couldn't get custody back. So I lost a child because of this man and his abusive ways. And I'm trying to condense here. I might need to do a part 2. So those things were really hard in my life, really hard. And I was ready to leave him again, and I found out I was pregnant. And lo and behold, that was Noah. And to me, now my faith goes back to my childhood. I can look back and just see the points in my life where it had to be God. There is no other explanation for how I was taken care of other than God. And I don't push that on anyone else. I am just saying, for me, it is beyond a doubt the most powerful evidence that I have lived, that for me, there is no doubt that we we have a God that's watching over all of everything that's going on. So to me, when I got pregnant with Noah, that was pretty much my indicator that it wasn't time. It was not time to leave. And so I had Noah, and then 2 years later, here comes Rachel. And and I was just able to get through the next several years. Raised goats, showed goats, did things I loved, got to do the eBay thing. And I'm trying to fast forward. I mean, it's a 54-year story. I'm trying to squeeze into an hour. But let me get to the part that's important, I think, for the people who need to hear it. So through all of that, I got here to Vegas, didn't want to move to Vegas. We ended up in Vegas because of his work. Again, call it coincidence? I don't. Put us in Vegas, and I got the opportunity to open a retail store. My dream, this goes back to like my whole point of the retail thing. Like my dream was to open my own retail store, and I opened a consignment store that was called the Time Machine Shopping Experience. And I had it laid out in time, like decades. So you could walk back through time, and it was all consignment. And my ex was a software developer. So we had come up with a software that integrated with eBay so that the items that were on consignment could also be listed on eBay. And when they sold at the scan, boom, it comes off of eBay. And we had that working. It wasn't finished to be able to market it to other stores, but we had it working for us. And it was just an incredible concept, and it was very successful from the get-go. And then the day before our grand opening, he asked me for a divorce. And on our grand opening, I discovered it was because he was seeing our 32-year-old store manager. So you can just imagine, we have just gotten the store. We had a soft opening and got that little bombshell and made it all the way to Christmas time with him and her both working in the store, because I was threatened that I couldn't fire her and that he wouldn't finish the software and yada, yada. But I had enough. The end of December, I told him to leave. It's like, I'm going to do this on my own. Just go. And I kept that store going for 6 months by myself. We had 6 months free rent, and then rent started becoming due, and it was a $22,000 rent payment. So that was a little stressful, and I made it for a couple months, and then I was so depressed, and I wasn't being a good mom to my kids, and my whole world had turned upside down. Because remember, we've been 23 years, and the day the divorce attorney told me that I had to put a value on that business and give him half is the day that store closed. And that was a really hard decision because it was my dream. And that happened in 2017. And I tell you, for a while, I was done with eBay. I was done with online selling. I just wanted to go get a job. And I ended up working at a thrift store. Surprise, surprise. They had me come in and manage their eBay department. And that kind of got me back into that mode. I've managed 2 auction houses during my stint. And so all of that experience is what then, once I got over the complete depression of my divorce, and just the shock, it was rising out of that I realized that had I not gone through all of that, I wouldn't have the experience to relate to the women that I feel that I am called to help. I wouldn't have the empathy that I have for people in similar circumstances. And I formed the Niche Foundation out of that. Still forming the Niche Foundation, which dealing with government bureaucracy is really fun, said no one ever. But because of all of that experience, I know I'm not alone out there. And I know there's a lot of women who end up on welfare and food stamps and are just scraping by. And I know it doesn't have to be that way. I know that you can take this business, because this is what I had to do. I have no college degree. I have no fancy letters after my name, but I can tell you, I have read as many books and I have been to as many lectures and conferences and learned from people who are where I wanted to go as anybody who's gotten a college degree. I've got the life experience. So I'm not a big believer in that the letters behind the name making you better than somebody else. It's what you do with those letters behind the name and the experience that you have to take that information. But I digress. I get very upset when people use a degree to better themselves over someone else, because it's not the case. I don't even know where I was. So I have made it now like my mission. I am doing so well with my online selling, rising out of, I'm doing better than I ever did while I was married, because while I was married, I was so depressed and I was anxious and I was worried about like what shoe was going to fall next, like what was I going to be in trouble for next, that I wasn't doing anything to my full potential, and I was still doing a 6-figure business. And so, I've got to credit, I've had a YouTube channel for 9 years. I started my channel 9 years ago, and I have created content off and on for 9 years. I had a 2-year run at the Vegas Video Network with my own show. And I've always been about helping people succeed. I had the Danny App Academy, where I would teach people. And when I found out, and it was Jocelyn, the crazy lamp lady, who I'm just so thankful to her for giving me the time of day. Like, she helped me get going what I have now. She said, she taught me about monetization, and she taught me like what I needed to do to make a success of my channel. And I will forever be so grateful for her for talking to me, because it's been since December 2019 that I started really getting serious about the YouTube channel and making the videos and monetizing. That now I can't even, like, my daughter's got horseback riding lessons, and you people who do horse, how expensive that is. I get to give my kids the life that I wasn't able to do before. I wasn't even able to do it while I was married, even though he made $150,000 a year. Couldn't do it because I wasn't allowed to have that money. But the YouTube channel and the income I make from that makes it possible for me to now do what I really want to do. And that is help those who need to make this a business, who need to be serious about this and support themselves and not rely on government and government services, which actually keeps you down. It doesn't inspire you or motivate you to do bigger things. And I'm talking from somebody who was on it. You had to watch how much you made, because if you make too much money, you lose those benefits. And then, oh my gosh, then how are you going to get your food? So, and not every woman gets child support. I mean, I fortunately get some. So there is that, but the family court system is a nightmare. And so I've been able to take my experience and help others in that situation. And that's why I go back to, as a Christian, that is my belief system, is that I have been given gifts and talents that are not meant for me to hold on to for myself. They are meant for me to use for someone else who may not have that gift or talent, for someone else who needs to be lifted up from a place. And it's my whole premise in life is that if we all just took that, whatever that special thing is, and we are all so different, and we all have that different life experience growing up. We all have that little special thing. And too often I see people bury it. They bury it out of shame. They bury it out of fear. They bury it out of embarrassment. They bury it because they don't think anybody really would care or relate. And I'm telling you, let that thing shine. And if it's one person that can benefit from it, you've fulfilled a service. And I just, that's why I say I feel so incredibly blessed that I have a platform with now 32,000 subscribers that still just every day I don't take it for granted. I don't take it for granted that you guys will sit and watch a 30 to 50-minute video that I create for you. And so it's very important to me that the information that I put in those videos isn't just like, it's not production. I've been asked to do reality TV shows. I was very good friends with a TV producer back when I was doing the Vegas video network. I did the Niche to Profit show. And I didn't want to be produced because produced shows change the information. It's all about like the whole big entertainment value. And so I'm trying to entertain. Yes, I'm trying to entertain because nobody wants to watch something, boring. But I make sure that the information I'm giving you is accurate. That's why those values at the end, I'm not just throwing values out there just to, have something at the end of my video and go, hoorah, look how much I can sell this stuff for. It is to inspire. I want to inspire you. I want to show you that it is possible to sell this stuff, create a niche, a following. You don't have to have a YouTube channel to create a following, but you create it by having a niche and sending messages to your customers, through the eBay system or however, encourage them to come back. We now have coupons, all of that. But it's that whole retail marketing psychology that is the whole basis of why I do what I do. And that it is my lot in life to take my knowledge and take what I can to share with others. And again, I'm going back. I don't want to push my faith on you guys, but the New Testament has one commandment. There's 10 commandments in the Old Testament. There is one commandment in the New Testament, and that is to love others. Love. And love doesn't just mean telling somebody you love them or that kissy huggy lovey type of love. Love is action. Love is feeding the homeless man on the street who, you might be disgusted by the way he smells, but he needs food. Love is showing grace to someone who's coming at you with an ugly comment on social media. Sorry, guys. And not just firing back with ugliness too. It's holding your tongue. That's love. Love is sharing your knowledge with others. Love is taking what's been given to you and sharing it. And so I'm just going to leave you guys with that and Julia's been over there. I hope she's put the link over there. I'm going to go do a live sale with Julia next, over on her channel, Perfecting Pearls. But that's why I do what I do. That is, I feel like everything I've been through in my life has brought me to this point where I can take what was really, really bad and really, really awful and make something really, really beautiful out of it and show people that no matter what life throws at you, you can take it and make something beautiful out of it, and you can overcome it. Larry, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I will continue to do that until the day I am no longer above this earth. And I hope that you are inspired by what I do. And I hope that you can have everything you want in this life and then share it with someone else. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to get over to Julia's channel. I hope you will join me over there and see some goodies I have for sale. It's kind of a rough transition there. And most of all, if there is anyone out there listening who you feel like it's hopeless and you are in that dark place and you don't have anybody to talk to, by all means, send me an email. I am always an open ear and a support. And if you need direction into resources, you know, in the family court system and that kind of thing too, because I know there's a lot of women who don't leave because of that, please email me. Don't hesitate to email me, thenichelady@gmail.com. I'm sometimes a little slow in my responses, but I do read every single email, and I promise it won't go unnoticed. And I will do everything in my power to help. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. And with that, go be profitable and make it fun. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye, everyone.